Hey, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Sofitel Hotel at London Heathrow Airport's Terminal 5. I'm going to be reviewing the room, the gym, and of course, the all-important breakfast buffet. Stick around for my review of my recent stay in April 2025. As the name suggests, the Sofitel Heathrow Terminal 5 is directly connected to Heathrow's Terminal 5 by way of a walkway. I'm going to show you this walkway, although I'll speed it up so as not to bore you. The Sofitel is the only hotel directly connected to Terminal 5, so it's a must-stay if you want the ultimate inconvenience. I personally had just stepped off a 14-hour flight from Tokyo, and my body thought that it was 4 o'clock in the morning when I was checking in, even though it was only 9 o'clock, so you can see why I wanted to be close to the terminal. In total, the walk only takes 2 minutes, and you arrive into the lobby of the hotel, ready to check in. For an airport hotel, the lobby is very nicely decorated. I mean, this is objectively good, particularly so for an airport hotel. Now, here's something I've never seen before in a hotel. My room was room 5221. Now, by all standard hotel room naming convention, this would imply that the room was on the 5th floor, or, if the hotel was tall enough, the 52nd floor. No, my room was on the 2nd floor. You see, the layout of the Sofitel is kind of like the letter E, except with a few extra prongs. So in the room number, the first number actually refers to your column, not the floor. If anyone has any clue why they've done it this way, please let me know in the comments, because I'm really at a loss. After eventually locating my room on the 2nd floor, I went and took a look around, and as you can see, it's a very nice room. The finish is to a high standard, and the bed looks very comfortable, and in fact, it was very comfortable when I got on it later. There's plenty of space to move around and store your suitcases, and for a single night stay, which is what I imagine 99.9% of stays in this hotel are, it was perfect. The bed itself was soft and comfortable, and I got a great night's sleep on it. And as you can see here, housekeeping did a wonderful job of making the bed. On top of the bed, they placed 4 pillows, which was perfectly adequate for me. These were soft and fluffy and gave great support to my neck. No complaints here. One thing that did surprise me about this room is that there was no power socket next to the bed. They had buttons to control the room's lighting, but really, I thought power sockets had become standard nowadays in hotel rooms. As you can see here, neither side of the bed had any power sockets. I ended up unplugging one of the lamps so that I could fit a charger in. Not the end of the world, but not ideal and worth noting. Moving further around the room, there's a TV, which is a smart TV, so you can connect your iPad to it and stream things like Netflix if you want. It was a little bit small, given how far away it was from the bed, but definitely not the end of the world. The in-room chair was very comfortable, and I was pleased to see they'd given me a welcome gift of a bar of chocolate and 2 bottles of water. The bar of chocolate was a Colombian milk chocolate and was actually very sizable. This totally filled me up. My room was an interior room, which meant my view was of the courtyard. It would have been nice to have had a room with a view of a runway, but I didn't pay for that, and as it's only one night and I'm about to go straight to sleep, this is a perfectly fine view. And before you ask, yes, the windows are tinted, so you can't see into the room. The room contains a decently sized working desk with plenty of power sockets for you to plug in things like your laptop. They also had audio-visual sockets so that you could connect your laptop to the television via AV or HDMI ports. The chair itself was not too comfortable, but then again, you're not going to be sat here for long. It's an airport hotel. Inside the cupboard, plenty of hangers were provided to hang your clothes, as well as a bathrobe. They also gave a pair of slippers to wear indoors. It's always fun to do that in hotels. On the other side of the wardrobe, they gave an ironing board if you just wanted to touch up your clothing before or after your flight. The room also contains tea and coffee making facilities. The coffee was provided by the brand Nespresso, and 4 capsules were provided, one of which was decaffeinated. 3 to 1, that's a good enough ratio for me. I was also pleased to see that the room gave actual espresso cups, although for a French hotel you would kind of expect this. Under this area, they provide an in-room safe to store your valuables and a minibar. One thing to note is that this minibar is complimentary, including the alcohol. Considering it was complimentary, it was quite generously stocked, with 2 beers, a bottle of spirit, and numerous soft drinks and juices. I'm not sure if every room at the Sofitel comes with a complimentary minibar, but this one did. Moving into the bathroom, both a bathtub and a shower were provided. I love it when hotels provide both. Also, as you can see here, the finish is to a very high standard. Again, for an airport hotel, this is really good. Hey, if you're enjoying the video so far, please subscribe. As you can see here, toiletries were by the brand Balmain. You'd expect them to do a French brand for a French hotel though. Numerous other toiletries were provided, like a toothbrush, a comb, a vanity kit, pretty much everything you should need for a short stay. The sink was a decent size and came with separate hot and cold water controls, and the body lotion was also by Balmain. The shower was a very decent size, came with bottles of things like shower gel, shampoo and conditioner. However, it was a rain shower and fixed shower head combination. My preference is always for a detachable shower head, although I do accept this is a personal preference. You may be perfectly happy with what's provided here. As before, the finishing was excellent. Anyway, enough about the room, let's check out the breakfast. Breakfast is served on the ground floor. Because I was jet lagged, I got to this super early at something like 6 o'clock in the morning, so it was virtually deserted when I got there, although I imagine it would get busier later on. Breakfast is served buffet style, and there are a number of things like yogurts, muesli, fruit jams, fruits for you to choose from. They also have a real honeycomb, which was a nice touch. Don't worry, this isn't the extent of the hot items, this is the vegetarian section. In addition to Western staples, they also had some Indian options, which is great because Indian food suits vegetarianism really well. In a nod to the British, they had some porridge available. They also had a gluten-free corner if you have that dietary restriction. Various cheeses and cold cuts were also available. These look to be a really high quality. As before, you would expect this from a French hotel chain. For the hot items, they had a full English, including black pudding. They also had a chef that did made-to-order eggs and omelettes. Various pastries and muffins were also available, as well as bread and bagels with a toasting machine to toast them to your preference. Having eaten a lot of food at breakfast, I decided to head to the gym to get a workout. The gym is located in the basement, just a short elevator ride down. The gym was a fairly decent size and surprisingly busy when I got there. As you can see here, there's a wide variety of weight machines that you can use. If you're looking to get a workout in after or before your flight, this is perfect. I didn't want to film them because there were people using them, but as you can see in the mirror's reflection, they also had a wide variety of cardio machines, such as treadmills and elliptical machines and exercise bikes. They also had free weights if you prefer to use these for your workout. Overall, this wasn't the best hotel gym I've used, but for an airport hotel, it was great. You'd certainly have no problem getting a full body workout here. Overall, I was really impressed with my stay at the Sofitel. I'd go one step further to say that it's possibly my favourite airport hotel in Britain. Not only is it directly connected to Terminal 5, from which all the British Airways flights fly from, and therefore the terminal that I fly into the most, it's also objectively just a really nice hotel. The finish is good, the rooms are nicely appointed, the breakfast is generous. I really don't have a bad thing to say about this hotel. The only thing I must caveat is that the convenience and the finish all come at a cost. My night here, including the breakfast, cost £180 British. This is a fairly common rate you'd expect to stay at this hotel. I wasn't staying in a particularly busy period. By way of a comparison, the Premier Inn, which is directly connected to Terminal 4, regularly goes for as cheap as about £40, £1/4 and less than this hotel. I've reviewed the Premier Inn at Terminal 4 in a separate video linked at the end of this one. Check it out and let me know in the comments if you think it's worth it to pay the extra for Terminal 5. Even if you want something a little bit nicer than a Premier Inn, the Hilton, which is also directly connected to Terminal 4 by way of a walkway, goes for about £90 to £110 on average. So I guess the question you have to ask is it worth it to stay here when you could get on the train, go to Terminal 4, walk for about 10 minutes, and pay £1/4 to half of the cost? For me, on this particular trip, where like I said earlier in the video, my body thought that it was 4 o'clock in the morning when I landed, I desperately wanted the room and I just wanted to come in and fall straight asleep. So it was worth it for me to have the convenience of not lugging my bags onto a train when I thought it was 4 o'clock in the morning. Similarly, if I had a really early flight departing from Terminal 5, I would consider staying here again. However, if my flight was arriving or departing at a more reasonable time, both the Premier Inn and the Hilton at Terminal 4 are perfectly adequate hotels, and I don't think it's worth paying the premium to stay here. I have absolutely zero regrets about my stay, and I will definitely stay here again, but only if I'm arriving late or departing early from Terminal 5.